Imagine the team crowding around a cluttered Jira board. Cards pile up like dirty dishes, priorities blur, and deadlines loom. You, the product manager, grab a marker and say, "Let's turn this chaos into a laser-focused backlog." That's our journey today, mastering product backlog management and user stories. I'll talk through each step, and when we shift topics, I'll simply say, "Now we'll talk about the next piece." The backbone. What a backlog really is. A backlog is not a dump of ideas. It's a single, ordered list of customer-centered work, user stories, bugs, spikes, even tech debt paydowns. Atlassian calls it the source of truth that continually evolves as new information emerges. Your job is to keep that list short, sharp, and value-ranked. Otherwise, the team drowns. Now we'll talk about writing a crystal-clear user story. The industry standard template, "as a persona, I want goal so that benefit," exists for a reason. It forces empathy and business logic into one breath. Atlassian's guide stresses this exact form because it keeps devs, designers, and stakeholders speaking the same language. Example for our EcoSnap app. As a busy college student, I want to scan 3 grocery items at once so that I compare carbon scores without holding up the queue. Acceptance criteria then turn that desire into testable facts. Many teams use Gherkin's given-when-then syntax, clear enough for business, precise enough for QA. Given multiple barcodes in camera view, when I tap Scan, then I see carbon scores for each item within 2 seconds. Why so formal? Because acceptance criteria become your definition of done. No shady, almost finished in sprint review. Now we'll talk about breaking down epics. Big ideas land as epics. Your weapon is the bread knife technique. Slice by workflow steps, happy path versus edge cases, or device types. A good litmus test. A story should fit in a sprint and demo in under 2 minutes. Now we'll talk about backlog refinement. Atlassian recommends a weekly ritual, 45 to 60 minutes, where the backlog owner, that's you, and the team, clarify each top story. Estimate effort, often with story points. Re-rank items based on fresh intel. Think of refinement as pre-chewing the food so sprint planning doesn't choke. Now we'll talk about prioritization inside the backlog. Classic tool, the Moscow W method. Must, should, could, won't. Must items block the release. Won't items manage stakeholder FOMO. Product plan notes. Moscow W's hidden superpower. It prevents scope creep by publicly declaring what will not ship this time. Practical tip, tag tech debt stories must when they threaten velocity or uptime. Otherwise, they'll forever languish under shiny features. Now we'll talk about balancing new work, bugs, and debt. A healthy sprint backlog often follows the 20-20-60 rule. 20% for bugs, 20% for maintenance or tech debt, 60% for new value. Tune the mix by watching velocity trends and customer impact metrics. If production bugs spike, flip the mix until quality recovers. Now we'll talk about user story mapping. Jeff Patton's walk-the-wall technique lays stories along the user journey. Sign up, browse, purchase, then stacks depth beneath each step. The top thin slice becomes MVP. Deeper slices wait their turn. Story mapping reveals dependencies and gaps better than a flat list. Crucial when execs demand, what's in V1, V2, V3? Slack's early team used a storyboard of chat flow to decide the very first sprint, channel creation, basic messaging, and file upload. Everything else, emoji reactions, threads, were later slices. That focus sped time to love and viral growth. Hypothetical drill. We're back to EcoSnap. Draft epic instant multi-scan. Slice stories, single scan, batch scan, error handling for low light. Write the first story as a cashier-conscious student with Gherkin acceptance. Use Moscow W. Single scan, sh must. Batch scan, she should. AR overlay, she could. In refinement, team sizes single scan at 5 points. Fits sprint. Story map shows scan flows precede the AI tips feature, so AI gets bumped. Sprint starts clear. Demo hits done. Everybody breathes. Key takeaways: user stories, trust empathy, plus goal, plus business win, acceptance criteria seal the contract. Groom weekly, a sharp backlog turns sprint planning into execution, not debate. Prioritize with Moscow W and guard against tech debt starvation. Map stories along the user journey to see MVP versus later layers. Master these habits and your backlog becomes a value conveyor belt, not a junk drawer.